Okay, welcome to Already Always Listening. In this episode, we want to dissect the visual metaphor behind our podcast cover because nothing in the subconscious mind is random or in our branding. We'll start this conversation about this topless stone statue, and hopefully, we'll get a little bit deeper into the divine feminine, vulnerability, ancestral timelines, the quantum realm, and what it means to hold a pose while being open to receive.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I was just at a bodybuilding show last week and it is all about posing, which has nothing to do with this, but also everything to do with it because it's from one end of the spectrum to the other. And this woman on this cover, I think my favorite part, honestly, is that she has no top on. And her nipples are kind of hard. And like at the end of the day, I feel like we're not allowed to walk around without tops. And it's kind of shamed on us to have our nipples showing, whether they're hard because it's cold out or because we didn't wear a bra that with our white shirt.
Okay,
It,
well, tell that to Gen Z, though, please.
I know.
I think this is a millennial problem.
I still say it. I think maybe we should do a whole podcast on just the different generations.
For sure.
But so you're right, but I just think it's so wonderful. But then also, it's bringing back this super artistic side where nobody does freaking sculptures or statues like this anymore.
Oh my gosh, and it's so timeless.
It's timeless.
And I did think of her when I saw her toned arms. Thought of you.
Her just flexing into it.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Christine is an award-winning bodybuilder.
So,
You go.
I was just gonna say I'm an IFBB bikini pro, and it's not who I am. It's just something that I do, and I really love it because I think that it's something that is opened up where I am now. Because I actually started bodybuilding because I just wanted to check a bucket list item off. And what it turned into was this beautiful unfolding of who I am. And that was not the intention at all. It was like, oh, I just want to look like this so I can get on the stage and wear this little sparkly bikini and do the thing, right? But it became like so much more.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, so fun. We'll have to post some of your pictures at some point.
I don't know, we don't have to go that far, but I wasn't topless in any of those shows. But I was wearing very small, sparkly bikinis. And I looked very strong, but yet soft because the division that I'm in, you have to be lean, but they don't want you to be like striated. It's all about that like that soft, but that hard and that strong and the strength. And I resonated with it mostly just because I didn't have to I don't cover myself and I don't feel like I need to be covered when I'm competing. And even now after, because I've grown into who I am, but bodybuilding and just that strength and the beauty the power that she holds.
Oh, and it's like such a shame-slaying move, right? Because
Oh yeah.
it's a world of judgment and people might have an opinion about you standing up there and showing off your butt. And it's like, okay, everyone, let's calm down. You're fucking hot and you worked for it and you get to show it off. And there is power in going for that.
But also think about why are they feeling those things? And if you're listening right now thinking, oh, she's a bodybuilder, you're only mad or feeling a certain way because of your programming from your already always listening ears and what you heard or how you feel about yourself. And it could even be that it's something that you have deeply desired to do, but didn't think that you were capable of.
Oh my gosh, ding, ding, ding. It's the shadow.
Ooh, the shadow. Tell me that.
Okay, so this idea that things in other people that trigger us is actually parts of ourself that we've repressed. So you just hit it nail on the head without even thinking about that. But yes, who doesn't want to have this hot 2% body fat? I don't even know what it would be. But like hot bod and everyone like to win an award for that and to feel so healthy. It's of course physical appearance, but what's underneath that? And you're exactly right. Why did we suppress that that want or need within ourselves, because women are supposed to be modest. Maybe it's religious programming. Maybe it's a slut culture, which we'll get into later on. Yeah. And so that is such a good introspection for the listener, is like, is this triggering to me?
Yeah. Yeah, I just actually shared something about that on social media. It was a video that I posted, and then afterwards, I was like, if that triggered you, ask yourself why.
Yeah,
Right. And which goes back to what we talked about in another episode, where if you feel a certain way and you're trying to figure out the steps, awareness, observation, and then redirect, I guess.
completely.
Got to be aware of the thought before, like, you have to be aware that you have the thought so that you can observe the thought so that you can change the thoughts.
Mhm. Yes.
Ooh.
And another thing that you mentioned that is such a great metaphor for this journey we're on is, you said something about it's this blend of like soft and hard, or like power and, I don't know, subtlety. Oh, look, my little cat came to say hi. Hi, Anakin Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, your cat's name is Spider-Man? That's amazing.
Anakin Spider-Man.
I love it. Does he eat spiders?
Actually, yeah. Personally, I call him Honey Bunny, but we have a lot of kids that want to name the pets around here.
Everything needs a name. We're trying to label everything. Labels, names, good, bad, right, wrong, evil, kind. It's out of control.
And you know what? This statue doesn't have a name, and yet look at her.
She has a freaking presence, a priestess presence.
Okay, yes, let's talk about that. The veil. Because she's so strong and like, I don't give an F, my nipples are out. And she has this veil like over her head. And it's just, again, this idea of not being flashy.
But she is beauty. The presence. She just is.
Yes, she is a sovereign being. There it is again.
Oh, that sovereignty. Is now the time to break into that?
No, we got to stick to the plan at hand.
Okay, bye.
So we talked about the who of this beautiful image we chose.
Yep.
We've mentioned the what is already always listening.
Yeah. And how every listener is really going to hear what they're meant to hear, right? But that's how this all operates. That's how it all works. That's how this entire program has been formatted.
And it's the breadcrumbs that lead you back to yourself.
But let's talk about that for a minute, because I know what you mean, because I've been studying this and I understand we create these things that we're interested in. And then if we're too busy to go down that path, then that breadcrumb gets missed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? And so then it's like you left it for yourself. It's like a little piece that your soul dropped so you could remember something.
I love looking at it that way, very visually, because did that breadcrumb actually go away? Or maybe the next time you hear something, you'll remember that other thing. And you're like, oh yeah, that was interesting to me, or that intrigued me, or I really want to learn about my mother line, or whatever, the thing is.
It could be something as simple as I had always known that I wanted to host a retreat, right? But I really wanted to go on a yoga retreat. And I wasn't even really that big into yoga. I just had this like deep, deep longing to do this yoga retreat for some reason. But the right one like just didn't pop up. And then one day, my friend who is huge and deep into yoga was like, hey, I'm having this retreat. And I was like, sign me up. Didn't even like question. But in that moment, I had been saying no to it for like probably 15 years. And
Oh
when
my
I finally
gosh.
said yes, I had this thought in my head that it was like, this is going to be so freaking amazing, but it's going to change your life and you're never going to be able to look back.
And did it?
It was so scary and it's still scary. And yes, it has changed my life and I can't look back because once you know, you can't unknow.
This is so interesting. I have my pivotal moment or spiritual awakening moment, or what people like to label it, was also at a retreat. And it wasn't necessarily coined as yoga, but we did do Kundalini, which I had never even heard of up to that point. But it was more of a wellness retreat. And same, it was the things I learned and experienced in that 5 days changed the rest of my life. It was what started this whole journey of questioning and understanding and listening and meditating and quiet my mind and understanding that just because someone said it to me once or this person believes it doesn't make it 100% God's honest truth.
Yeah, and how many times though did we learn something as a child or as we were growing up or even now as adults that we take it for what they say it is and we don't question it, we don't think about it. I know for me especially, I just took everything, but I always had questions, I just didn't start to verbalize them until recently.
Well, that's because we were told not to ask questions.
Yeah. Well, my dad, I don't know if like family, like growing up, just go back to this. It's really interesting. Um, when we were kids, my dad, we were not allowed to ask why. It was because they said so. And that's not a good enough answer for me. Even when I was a kid, I was like, that's not enough.
Oh my gosh. Because I said so. I know, always. Or life's not fair. Have you ever heard that one?
Yeah. Oh, you want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about.
I need to write this down. Let's do a whole episode on this, please. In the comments below, tell us the things you've been told that you're like,
This is insane. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Please drop those comments below because that would be such a great content for later, right? Because we've all had experiences and things that our parents said, or we've also had on the flip side, I know too, where my dad was like, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. And I was like, dude, everything is after 10 o'clock. I'm missing all the cool stuff because I had a curfew at 10 o'clock until I left my house. Really, until I went to college, I had to be home by 10 o'clock. I thought I was missing everything. I thought I am like the nerdiest kid. I don't get to do any of the cool stuff. I'm missing all the parties unless I slept at my friend's house. And then we snuck out from there. But it's so funny because now I'm like, oh, you guys are going to dinner at 8? Yeah, no, I'm going to be in bed already.
just what I was gonna say. Now in our late 30s, early 40s, we're like,
Nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. Nothing good. I will be a pumpkin by then. Trust me, nobody wants to see it. We're going to dinner at 5:30. We could catch a little bit of that happy hour at the end, maybe, but I want to be home by 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest.
oh my God, get it. Totally on that page. But it's so funny because the one you said about, oh, what was it? It was something about, oh, life isn't fair. Maybe I said that one.
Dude.
But think about this. If that is a script you're running in your head, life isn't fair, then what do you think is always going to show up for you?
Unfairness of life.
Exactly. And so these are the simple things that you're like, okay, yeah, actually, I have been told that. And I do think that life is unfair. So I'm going to quit telling myself that right now. If
Oh,
you can even just make that conscious decision to re-script that, every time your brain starts to say, life isn't fair, you just say, actually, life gets to be better than I ever expected it to be.
yeah. And so just by shifting that one thought, even if that's the one thought that you change, and maybe it takes you a month every day of shifting that thought,
Yep.
make that one stick. And then you can pull another one and change that one.
Exactly. And this is how you make the subconscious conscious. And that's how you free freaking wire.
So you bring it from the back right up into the front.
And you're right, you might have to remind yourself multiple times a day for weeks or months. Hopefully that's it. Maybe forever.
I think it's a forever thing that maybe not that specific thought forever, right? Unless it's like super deep programming that it just really does. But at the end, they say it takes 21 days. I actually think it's closer to, I hate to say it, but I want to say it's like 200 something. I'd have to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's way more than 21 days. I don't know who came up with the 21-day habit thing. It's much longer than that
Yeah.
for some things. But then other things, like as soon as you're aware of it, you can change it because it's like, oh, that's such an easy thing. But just because you change it doesn't mean it's going to change if you don't believe it.
Exactly. And it goes back to the breadcrumbs because once you can start believing this thing like, oh, actually, life is fair or life does going to be better than I ever expected, that's when your vibration starts elevating to this point where you come across that yoga retreat and this time you say yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Could someone just pay me to just go on retreats? so good at it. I give really good feedback. I'm super interactive and I go all in. I love it so much. But I think sometimes some of the retreats, they really need to be 7 days or more. And there has to be integration. Otherwise, it's just a really cool experience.
I feel that too when I got done with my wellness retreat, coming back to real life, I remember sitting in that airport in Mexico and people were at Margaritaville or whatever, like drinking at 10 a.m. in the morning. And I just got off this like spiritual drinking from the water hose. Oh my gosh. And I remember being like, I feel like I'm in a video game.
Oh, yeah.
Like integrating back into real life is for real. And I think it ends there a lot of times after retreats. This is an awesome business model for someone is like, how do you integrate and bring back all the downloads and everything you accomplished at the retreat into your day-to-day life and reality with all these wild people getting mad at the person in the airport and taking shots and whatever.
Or losing your marbles because there's a kid screaming on the plane. I could be honest and say that there was a time in my life where if there was a kid on a flight screaming, I would just be like, I can't believe this is happening. What is wrong with these people? Do something. And now I feel like I come from this place of compassion because even though I don't have children, nor do I want them, I have two crazy puppies, that's plenty. I still respect the beauty of a child and them having no idea how to self-regulate or why they're crying, or the parent doesn't know necessarily how to make them stop crying. And it doesn't have to be this thing where everyone's looking and staring and I just kind of almost say a quiet prayer to myself for them. Oh, I'm so sorry that you're having this experience, for both of them. And maybe send the mom a freaking vodka or something. Hello, and then pop my headphones in and listen to something soothing and reconnect and regulate my own self in hopes that my calm energy will then start to calm those around me. And then those will, so that eventually the baby lulls itself to sleep because everybody is just sending it love.
As a mother to two toddlers, I will tell you that is beautiful advice. And also, it is the reason if that used to trigger you is because of what your own nervous system dysregulation. So if we can't even do it as adults, why do we expect kids to?
Well, because as adults, we don't even know that's what's happening.
Well, and as adults, sometimes we don't even know how to name our own emotions. So kids are a blank slate and they're like, this is fucking sexy. You won't let me sit in the plane in that big thing. That's the end of the world to that little 4-year-old mind.
Yeah. 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 But you don't even know, like, they don't know to self-regulate. We're grown-ass adults, don't even know that self-regulation is a thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's what we're here to change. At least that's what I'm here to change with my clients because it is so much about holding space for those big emotions and
Yeah.
teaching these regulation techniques. And it's not all, oh, take a deep breath, like, yes, that's a useful tool. And especially when you want to think before you act. But it's so much deeper than that. And you do this in your work too, right?
Yeah, because the body speaks, right? We kinda talked about that before. And the reality is, if the body's speaking, then you've been saying no for too long, right? And I'm the queen of saying no to hearing things and not listening to my intuition because it's not gonna be as easy or whatever the case may be. It's like you make these decisions in those moments to either go with the intuition or not, to express the feeling or to repress the feeling. And most of the time for me, I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I have 3 brothers. There were no feelings in my house. This was like, you better not cry and you don't have feelings and we don't talk about feelings. And I don't remember my parents ever saying these things to me or being ugly about it by any means. And this is not a bashing parents thing at all. I love them both dearly. They were amazing and they gave me everything I needed to be who I am. But the whole feelings thing, I really struggled with for a long time. And even like now, really only in the last 5 years, I'm 41 years old and it took me this long. like mid-30s to like actually understand that feelings are not bad, that you can have feelings and you can talk about your feelings.
Well, feelings are like power, actually, because that is the clue.
But the clue to what? Because nobody's talking about this. No one taught me this.
It's just the clue of what you need to heal, what little Christine didn't get that she's craving. The clue about what's exciting for you or the path you're supposed to go to get to your highest expression. The emotions are literally the energy in motion, but it's exactly what you said. We're taught to cut it off. And so the second we start feeling an emotion, it's uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
so we distract ourselves or we get to be 21 or 18 and we numb out and we just drink because we have all these emotions and we don't know where to put them or how to talk about them. And so it's easier just to ignore them. But when you can start to use them, it can be so juicy.
Well, I can't wait to dive into all of these things deeper because no matter what level you're at, maybe you're not even acknowledging your feelings yet. This is still the place for you because we're going to dig some of that stuff up because I don't even know it all.
And the other thing is about the intuition, because you're right. Because of all these things of shutting down our emotions or not trusting ourselves or putting the power in someone else's hands, that because I said so, trusting your intuition and actually having the capacity to say, no, I am not getting on that elevator with that strange man for risk of hurting someone's feelings, or to say, no, I'm leaving the party, even though all your friends don't want you to, or say you're so embarrassing. It's hard. A lot of times, being true to your intuition isn't always the easiest route.
No, but then there are simple ones where I will specifically take a different route home. They'll
Mm.
have the nudge, "Ooh, don't go that way this time." And I'm like, "Well, why?" And then I'm like, "It doesn't matter why." And I just go a different way. And then there's other times where I have a gym that has multiple locations, and I'm not really that close to any of them, so they're all inconvenient, but it's just the gym that I like. So sometimes I go to the same one mostly, and then other days I'll wake up and be like, "Nope, I need to go to this location today." And I won't have any reason why, except for the fact that I just know that I know that I know that I have to go to that one. And then I'll see someone I haven't seen in years, and they'll tell me something that whatever, and it'll spark a conversation. It's like, "Well, that's why I had to go there."
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is the best use of your intuition.
Yeah.
Oh, and it lines you up with the right people in the right places, but you're listening. Like, you felt that nudge and you didn't talk yourself out of it because, well, I always go to this one on Wednesday. You're like, nope, I just know.
No, but to your point, though, there are some that are really difficult and it's like a harder decision to make. And then there's other ones that are easier to make. And if you don't question them, you just do it.
For sure. And then it gets fun. Like, you get to start playing with this. So, for instance, if you're driving and then you miss your turn and you start driving one way when you're meant to go somewhere else, then you can start to be like, oh, I guess, the universe didn't want me to go that way. And maybe you avoided an accident or a traffic jam.
Yes. That is always what I think. I used to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. And I would start freaking out. But, you know, some of them are easy, some of them are hard. And either way, when you tapping into that or not tapping into it, there's always going to be moments that we have to just be patient. But whenever you think that you're going to be late, you're going to be even more late. But
Hmm.
I have swear I have stopped time going places some before because I'm like, oh, whatever. I have plenty of time. It's gonna be fine. And then I'm just listening to my radio like I've got 20 minutes longer than I actually have. And then somehow I get there and I have a minute to spare. And there's no freaking way that's even possible.
I believe it. I believe you have that power.
It's crazy though. I never would believe it until it happened to me. But I guess the whole idea is we really want to spark all of the little cells in your brain to be on high alert right now. Like high alert, what the heck are they talking about? She mentioned quantum field, which is what I really want to talk about because I don't even know really anything about the quantum field. But that's where everything is happening at once.
Oh my gosh, yes, let's get into it. Well, okay, back to the thing at hand, this stone figure, this timeless figure who transcends like through all these like thousands of generations, and her imprint, her vibration is still there to the point where now it's on a podcast cover for this thing that we're recording online. Do you think when the sculptor created her, that was ever even, a thought? Some girls would be using this
On her own podcast cover about
yeah.
already always listening.
So this is the timelessness idea and this idea of the quantum realm. Like we have the capacity to look at the roots of things, not only in our own life, but even beyond that into maybe how our ancestors grew up. So maybe this idea of life isn't fair goes back not to necessarily your dad, but his dad or his dad or his dad, when life actually really wasn't fair because there was some real shit going on where he was growing up. And so these ideas get passed down generationally. And we can also look at this in our own, I guess, everlastingness of our own soul, if that's something you can buy into, past lives.
Right.
We can go through different iterations to learn these different life lessons. And we have this ability here and now in the technologies that we have to zoom out and understand, okay, what is my soul asking for? And we have the ability to heal it in the quantum field. So, this idea where, yes, there is no such thing as time as we as humans on earth relate to it. And everything is simultaneously happening at once. Which means when you make a decision, there ends up being two timelines. One where, say, you went to college and one where you didn't. And you can have these trajectories playing out, just one's in your conscious, like right here awareness, and one isn't. And so when you can wrap your brain around this concept, which I know is like, okay, what the hell, girl? You totally lost me, and that's fine.
Nope, I'm following. Keep going.
Just just stick with it. Just let it be a spark of, I don't know, who actually knows really. But it's this idea that when we can start to uncover these things at a generational or ancestral level, when we heal in our bodies with our emotions and our nervous system, we get to heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. It's a ripple. And it
7?
can shift everything 7 back and forward. Like, this is so freaking cool. I've been doing this work for years and watching these moments when people have these sort of epiphanies and then how it shifts even maybe the relationship with their mom without their mom even knowing that they were doing this work on themselves. It's so freaking cool.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because we know how important our moms are, but not everybody is blessed to have a good relationship with their mom,
Right.
but it doesn't mean it can't be a good relationship. But also, not to go on a tangent, but once we start to learn more about these things, then it gives us more compassion for our parents and realizing that they did the best they could with what they had. And whether you have a good relationship with your mom now, or you did, or you didn't, or you want one, it's not right. It's not wrong. It just is. And just accepting it for what it is and then loving them through it. As I stated, like my mom's my best friend. I'm really super lucky with that. I mean, she was only 20 when she had me. So we're basically sisters. We always say we grew up together. Um, but, I'm super grateful for about that, but there's also other relationships that I didn't have, and I think it's important to understand, again, that all of these things are accessible to us only for our highest good, really. And if you're only seeking the best in yourself and everyone else around you, then that's all you're ever gonna get from anyone. You're never gonna see the darkness and the other ugly stuff that everyone always wants to add in. That but also understanding that there is no light without dark.
Completely. And you hit something right on the head. I feel like if anyone takes away one thing from this that can shift their perspective on life forever, it's that everyone is always doing the best they can with the information they have. And when you can start to have that about everything that happens, the person in the checkout line that was a bitch to you, or, your neighbor who's mad at you and yelling at you, all these things. And you're just like, okay, they're doing the best they can with the information they have. And it just is this permission slip to let things go a little bit. Like, not let it affect your energy just because you might be more evolved or have a different knowledge than that person that you're witnessing in that experience.
And witness is the perfect word because at the end, we're not here to judge anyone for their experience, right? It's just about observing and witnessing where they are and just accepting it for what it is. And again, not labeling it good, bad, right, or wrong, just that it is.
Exactly. Ugh, so
And
good.
that's so good. So juicy.
Okay. Is there anything else? I feel like we're getting a little bit long, but we just wanted to touch on this idea of the divine feminine and vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Thank you. Because this pose, going back to the cover, she has her arms open and she is ready to receive baby. And this is the divine feminine. This is this ability to show up in our full emotion. And we have committed to being very vulnerable on this podcast, even knowing and already having this conversation that people might not agree and they might make that known.
Yeah.
And we are still willing and ready to share this value, not because we want something in exchange, but because we are open to receiving.
If I'm being honest, the receiving part is the hardest part for me. Like, I am just almost a giver to fault, and not because I want something in return ever, but because I'm a control freak. I'm just being honest. So if I'm in control and I'm giving, then it's more comfortable for me to give than to receive. It took me years to just say thank you when someone complimented me. I couldn't even accept a compliment, let
Mhm.
alone receiving love from my spouse. I just realized recently that I lose control if I start to receive, if I'm vulnerable and I share this weird self that I am finally owning.
Oh my gosh, this is so huge. And wow, that you recognized it. And wow, that one realization shifted this even entire epiphany about your relationship and how you're showing up. That is what this is all about.
Hair is tingling.
Yes. There's something huge here. We have to dive way more into the receiving. But for now, let's just leave the listeners with that. When someone compliments you, what do you do? Do you say, "Oh, no, it's nothing"?
Or do you say that you got it on sale at TJ Maxx? Or do you say, "Thanks, I love your lipstick," or you say you compliment back? You don't say thank you, just or you say thank you, but you return a compliment.
Exactly. Or what if someone at the grocery store offers to take out your groceries for you? Do you always say no?
Yes, I do. I
And
always
what would it feel like to let someone carry them for you?
I don't know know, because 'cause I'm the girl that carries them all in 2 arms. If I can't carry it in 2 arms, then I don't buy it because I don't wanna have to take the cart.
Plus, that's why you got those guns on you.
Or I take the cart, but I always put the cart in the cart bay, or I walk it back.
That's just karma.
It's a whole 'nother fun.
This has been so good. We'll just have to remember if we ever change our podcast art to link the OG photo so people know what the hell we're talking about.
I won't think we're gonna have to worry about it because I think it's the winner. But, the wise women, they used to gather in circles, and we lost that. But we do have a podcast, and this is our circle. And it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how young you are, what you know, what you don't know. Like, we were not meant to do life alone. We were always supposed to do it together.
I love this. And we get to have a circle that can be worldwide.
Yes. Oh, gonna be so fun.
Yay!
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.